December 15th, 1943. Dear Mom and Dad, the Norden Bombsight and my B-17 cost $10,000. More than a house? More than most people earn in 5 years. It's the most sophisticated targeting device in the world. Gyroscopes, optical lenses, mechanical computers. Automatically calculates altitude, wind drift, airspeed, and trajectory. Yesterday, it broke. 4 minutes before I needed to release bombs on a German industrial complex, my pilot asked if we should abort the mission. 6 hours of flying, 10 crew members, thousands of gallons of fuel, all wasted if we turned back. I said no, I could still hit the target. How? Without the bombsight? With algebra, the same math the machine uses, except I'll do it manually. He thought I was joking. I wasn't. For the next 4 minutes, I became the bombsight. Calculated wind speed by watching smoke drift. Factored altitude and airspeed from the instruments. Did trajectory math in my head. And when the target was precisely 32 seconds ahead of our position, I pulled the manual release. Direct hit, destroyed the target, saved the mission, all with high school mathematics. I'm writing this because what happened yesterday needs explanation. Because the official mission report makes it sound routine, and because I need you to understand what your son does up here at 30,000 feet when everything goes wrong. Let me start from the beginning. Explain what a bombardier actually does, because I know when I told you I'd been assigned to bombardier training, you had no idea what that meant. A bombardier is the crew member responsible for dropping bombs on target. Sounds simple. It's not. At 30,000 feet, traveling at 200 miles per hour, a bomb doesn't fall straight down. It follows a ballistic trajectory. Wind pushes it. Gravity pulls it. Air resistance slows it. The aircraft's forward velocity carries it. If you just dropped a bomb straight down, it would land miles behind your target. You need to calculate exactly when to release so that by the time the bomb falls 6 miles through the air, it lands where you want it. That's where the Norden bombsight comes in. It's a mechanical computer. You input altitude, airspeed, wind speed, and the bombsight calculates the exact release point. Gyroscopes keep it stable. Optical sights show you the target. When the target reaches the crosshairs at precisely the right moment, the machine automatically releases the bombs. Perfect every time. Supposedly. The Army Air Force invested millions developing it. Called it the war-winning weapon. Said we could drop a bomb in a pickle barrel from 30,000 feet. Classified top secret. Bombardiers swore oaths never to let it fall into enemy hands, rigged with thermite charges to destroy it if the aircraft went down. And it worked, most of the time, when it didn't break. Yesterday was my 16th mission. Target, industrial complex outside Stuttgart. Manufacturing ball bearings for enemy aircraft. Strategic objective. Take it out, and enemy aircraft production drops significantly. We took off from our base in England at 0600 hours. 10 crew, pilot, co-pilot, navigator, bombardier, me, radio operator, flight engineer, and 4 gunners, flying a B-17F. Lucky lady, painted on the nose. She'd completed 23 missions. We were her 16th crew. The flight to Stuttgart took 6 hours. 6 hours of tight formation flying. 6 hours of watching for enemy fighters. 6 hours of the navigator plotting our course while I prepared the bombsight. Standard procedure, I'd spend the entire flight calibrating the Norden, checking gyroscopes, testing the optics, inputting data, altitude, airspeed, estimated wind speed, everything needed for accurate release. By the time we reach the target, the bombsight should be perfectly calibrated, ready to do its job. Should be. We crossed into German airspace at 0900 hours. Immediately, flak started. Anti-aircraft artillery. Black puffs of smoke appearing around us as German gunners fired 88mm shells set to explode at our altitude. You can't dodge flak. You just fly straight, maintain formation, and hope the shells don't hit you. They didn't. We were lucky. Some crews aren't. At 0945 hours, we began our bomb run. 15 minutes to target. I took control of the aircraft from my position in the nose. The Norden bombsight was connected to the autopilot. I could make small course corrections to line up perfectly on target. Standard procedure. I'd done this 15 times before. I activated the bombsight, checked the gyroscopes, looked through the optical sight. Nothing. The optics were dead. The gyroscopes weren't spinning. The mechanical computer wasn't computing. The Norden bombsight, $10,000 of precision engineering, was completely dead. I checked everything. Power connections, circuit breakers, manual resets. Nothing worked. The bombsight was dead, and we were 12 minutes from the target. I keyed the intercom. "Pilot Bombardier, we have a problem." "Go ahead." "Bombsight is down. Complete equipment failure." Silence on the intercom. Every crew member heard that. Everyone knew what it meant. The pilot's voice came back, calm, professional. "Can you repair it?" "Not at altitude. Not in 12 minutes. This needs a full shop teardown." "Then we're aborting?" That was the question. Abort the mission, turn back, return to base, try again tomorrow. Except tomorrow might not happen. Weather over Germany was unpredictable. This target might be socked in for weeks, and every day that factory operated, more enemy aircraft got built. More American pilots faced better-equipped enemies. I looked down through the bombsight window, just a hole in the aircraft floor. 30,000 feet of empty air between me and the ground. I could see Stuttgart ahead, the target complex visible even from this altitude, smokestacks, factory buildings, rail lines, right there, right in front of us. And I had no bombsight. But I had something else. I had the manual release lever, and I had the physics I'd learned in school. "Negative," I said. "We're not aborting. I can still hit the target." "How?" "Without the bombsight." "I'll calculate it manually. Do what the bombsight does, except I'll do the math myself." Silence again. Then the pilot. "You're serious?" "Yes, sir." "Can you actually do that?" "I think so. The bombsight is just math, trajectory calculations. If I know altitude, airspeed, and wind speed, I can calculate when to release." "You're going to do in your head what a $10,000 machine does?" "Yes, sir." "That's exactly what I'm going to do." More silence. I could imagine the crew exchanging looks, thinking I was crazy. Then the pilot. "Okay, it's your call, Bombardier. We're continuing the run. You've got 10 minutes to target. 10 minutes to become a human bombsight." I grabbed my notepad and pencil, started writing down everything I needed. Altitude, 30,200 feet. Airspeed, 185 miles per hour. That was easy. Instruments told me those numbers. Wind speed, unknown. The bombsight would have measured this automatically using drift calculations. I didn't have that. So I looked down, watched the smoke from factories below, watched how fast it drifted, compared it to our ground speed. Estimated wind, 35 miles per hour from the west, pushing us east. Bomb weight, 2,000 pounds, standard payload. I knew the ballistics tables for these bombs, had memorized them during training. Terminal velocity, approximately 750 feet per second. But air resistance varies with altitude. Time to impact from 30,000 feet, approximately 45 seconds. But that's straight drop with no forward velocity. Our aircraft was moving at 185 miles per hour forward. The bombs would inherit that velocity. This is where it got complicated. Here's the physics, Mom and Dad. The same physics I learned in your living room when you helped me with homework. When you drop something from a moving vehicle, it doesn't fall straight down. It continues moving forward at the vehicle's speed while gravity pulls it down. The result is a parabolic trajectory. A bomb dropped from an aircraft at 185 miles per hour and 30,000 feet will travel forward approximately 1.5 miles before hitting the ground. That's the trail distance. But that's in zero wind. With wind pushing from the west, the bomb will drift east during its fall. Approximately 35 miles per hour wind over 45 seconds means the bomb will drift roughly a quarter mile east. So I needed to release the bombs when the target was 1.5 miles ahead of us and quarter-mile west of our current track. Except we were traveling at 185 miles per hour. That's 272 feet per second. To hit a target 1.5 miles ahead, I needed to release when the target was, let me calculate, 1.5 miles equals 7,920 feet. At 272 feet per second, that's 29 seconds ahead of when the target would be directly below us. But compensating for wind drift meant adjusting our heading slightly west, so the target would reach the crosshair point not in 29 seconds, but in approximately 32 seconds, accounting for the angle. 32 seconds from now. I looked down through the bombsight window. The target complex was clearly visible. I could see the main factory building, the smokestacks, the rail yard. I started counting, watching the ground move beneath us at 185 miles per hour. Watching the target approach. The manual bomb release was a simple lever. Pull it, and the bomb bay doors would open, and the bombs would drop. No automation, no computer. Just mechanical release. My hand on the lever, eyes on the target. Counting in my head. 32 seconds, 31, 30. Flak bursting around us. The aircraft shaking from the concussions, trying to maintain steady flight while explosions rocked us. 25 seconds, 20. Wind drift calculation. Quarter-mile east. Adjust mentally for the offset. 15 seconds, 10. Target approaching the release point. Moment of truth. 5, 4, 3. I pulled the lever. The bombs dropped. 12 500-pound bombs leaving the aircraft at 185 miles per hour and 30,000 feet, following the ballistic trajectory I'd calculated in my head. For 45 seconds, we watched them fall. Nobody said anything on the intercom. Just watched. And then, 6 miles below us, the factory exploded. Direct hit. The bombs landed dead center on the main manufacturing building. Secondary explosions as fuel and materials inside ignited, smoke billowing up, the entire complex engulfed. The pilot's voice in my headset, "Bombardier, did you just do what I think you just did?" "Yes, sir. Manual calculation, direct hit. Without instruments, without the bomb sight. You did the math in your head and hit the target on the first try." "Yes, sir." "That's..." He paused. "That's impossible?" "Apparently not, sir." The navigator came on the intercom. "Bombardier, I've been calculating trajectories for years and I couldn't have done that." "How did you..." "High school physics," I said. "Same math the bombsight uses, just did it manually." The flight back took 6 hours. The whole crew was talking about what happened. The gunners kept asking me to explain the math. The flight engineer wanted to know if I could do it again. I told them honestly, I didn't know. I'd gotten lucky. The wind estimate was just a guess. The trajectory calculation was approximate. 1,000 things could have gone wrong. But they didn't. The math worked. The bombs hit. The mission succeeded. When we landed, the debriefing officer asked about the mission. I reported the bombsight failure and the manual release. He stopped writing. "You dropped manually, without instruments?" "Yes, sir." "And you hit the target?" "Yes, sir. Photo reconnaissance should confirm tomorrow." "How did you calculate the release point?" "Basic physics, altitude, airspeed, wind estimation, ballistic trajectory. Same calculations the Norden does, just manual." He stared at me. "Bombardier, do you realize what you just did?" "Hit the target, sir?" "You did what the bombsight does, without a bombsight, using mental calculation, under fire, at 30,000 feet." "Yes, sir." That's not supposed to be possible." "Apparently it is, sir." The next day, photo reconnaissance confirmed the hit. Factory destroyed. Manufacturing capabilities eliminated. Mission success. And then, things got interesting. The squadron commander called me in, asked me to explain exactly how I'd calculated the release point. I walked him through it: altitude, airspeed, wind estimation, trajectory math. He listened, made notes. then asked, "Could you teach this? If another Bombardier's site failed, could they do what you did?" "I think so. It's just math. Anyone who understands physics could do it." But most Bombardiers rely completely on the Norden. They don't know the underlying calculations. They just input data and trust the machine. "Then maybe we should teach them the manual calculations as backup, in case the machine fails." He nodded. "I'm sending your report to Bomber Command. This needs to be studied. We've been so focused on the technology that we've forgotten the humans can do the math too." 3 days later, I got orders to report to Training Command. They wanted me to develop a course in manual bombing calculations, teaching bombardiers how to hit targets without the Norden bombsight. Just in case the $10,000 machine fails and all you have is high school algebra. I've spent the last week working with training officers, writing up the physics, creating calculation worksheets, developing quick estimation techniques for wind speed, drift compensation, and trajectory adjustment. Turns out, I'm not the only bombardier who's thought about this. There are others who've done manual calculations when equipment failed. But nobody had formalized it. Nobody had written it down as a teachable method. So that's what I'm doing now. Teaching humans how to do what machines do. Showing bombardiers that the Norden bombsight is helpful, but not necessary. That math doesn't require instruments. Just understanding. Mom and Dad, I know you used to worry about my obsession with mathematics. Remember when I'd spend hours calculating trajectories for throwing rocks at targets? When I'd work through physics problems just for fun? When I'd insist on understanding the math behind every equation instead of just memorizing formulas? That obsession saved a mission yesterday. Saved the hours of flight time. Saved the fuel. Maybe saved the crew's lives by not forcing us to make a second run over heavily defended territory. And now, it's becoming something bigger. A training program. A skill that might help other crews complete missions when their equipment fails. All because I was stubborn enough to think I could do manually what a machine was supposed to do automatically. The Norden bombsight is an incredible device. I'm not diminishing that. It makes precision bombing possible. It removes human error. It allows bombardiers to hit targets consistently. But it's still just a machine. And machines break. When they do, you need humans who understand the underlying principles, who can do the calculations manually, who know that technology is a tool, not a replacement for knowledge. That's what yesterday taught me. That $10,000 of machinery is helpful, but knowledge, real understanding of the physics and mathematics, is irreplaceable. You can build a better bombsight. You can add more gyroscopes, better optics, faster computers. But you can't improve on basic physics. Gravity pulls at 32 feet per second squared, no matter how sophisticated your equipment is. And anyone who understands that, really understands it, can calculate trajectories, with or without instruments. I'm writing this from the officers' barracks. It's late. Tomorrow I start teaching the manual bombing course to the next group of Bombardier trainees. They'll still learn the Norden bombsight, still master the technology. But they'll also learn what I learned yesterday, that the machine is just doing math, and math can be done by anyone who takes the time to understand it. Will they ever need this skill? Maybe not. Most missions, the bombsight works perfectly. Equipment failures are rare. But rare isn't never. And when it happens, when you're at 30,000 feet over enemy territory with a dead bombsight and a critical target below, you need to know that you can still complete the mission. Not because you have better equipment, but because you understand the principles behind the equipment. There's been talk of giving me a medal for this. I don't think I deserve one. I just did math, used the skills I'd learned in school. Nothing heroic about that. What would be heroic is if we trained everyone to have these skills. If every bombardier understood trajectory physics well enough to calculate releases manually. If every navigator knew celestial navigation without instruments. If every pilot could fly by dead reckoning without radio navigation aids. Not because we should abandon technology, but because we should never become so dependent on it that we're helpless when it fails. Technology is a tool, a very good tool, but tools break, and when they do, you need knowledge to replace them. That's what I learned at 30,000 feet over Stuttgart when my $10,000 Bombsight died, and I had to become the Bombsight myself. Mom, Dad, thank you for making me finish my homework. Thank you for helping me understand math instead of just memorizing formulas. Thank you for encouraging my curiosity about how things work. Yesterday, those lessons mattered. They saved a mission. They destroyed an enemy facility. They proved that human understanding can match machine precision. And now they're becoming part of how we train the next generation of bombardiers. Not as the primary method, the Norden will still be the main tool, but as the backup, the fail-safe, the knowledge that ensures we can complete the mission even when technology fails us. I'll write again soon. The war continues. We fly tomorrow, different target, hopefully working Bombsight. But if it fails again, I know exactly what to do. And soon, every bombardier in the 8th Air Force will know too. Your son, Lieutenant James Carter, 381, Bombardment Group, 8th Air Force, PS. Tell my high school math teacher, Mr. Henderson, that his insistence on understanding the principles behind equations finally paid off. At 30,000 feet over enemy territory, when it actually mattered, subscribe for more untold stories where human knowledge proved machines weren't necessary, just convenient. Sometimes the most sophisticated weapon is understanding the mathematics that makes everything else possible.